all of you are working in professional industries. I'd like to know if there's any expectations that you have in terms of what you believe the organization should provide you in terms of mentoring or in terms of continuous learning.
I want to learn, but I don't necessarily need some kind of formal structure to
I don't think it needs to be formal, but I have to say in my graduate group, I would say the single thing that defined whether people had a good experience or not a good experience is whether the people they worked with took an interest in them and took the time to teach them. It's not a formal mentoring program.
And they're the ones who have the interest in doing it in the first place and want to do that versus
to work with
I'm doing it
natural teachers, exactly. And I think that's the single biggest thing that makes it.
So when I say that I have a really good partner, I wouldn't characterise him as a mentor, but I learn a lot from him.
Well, that's exactly. That's what I've found.
A little bit different in regards to you said, don't call yourself in business, there's no friends in business. I've found with a mentor, you want to have a close relationship with them, and I guess they want to have a close relationship with you. One is because you feel comfortable going to them with anything, and I guess being young, we've got to understand that these people have far greater knowledge than we do in some regard. So even though you think that you know what you're doing, or you go out there and it's either sink or swim, that solution that you've come up with, it may be okay, but there may be a far better solution at the end. But I also find that if you've got more of an emotional attachment with your mentor, you feel more obliged to go that extra step and make them happy, then you're actually driving yourself in that regard because you don't want to let them down. And if you don't want to let someone down, I think that you'll achieve a far better result than if you had no emotional attachment at all and you sort of just was like, oh, well, what?
Can you be emotionally attached to yourself?
Water off duck's back. And I think you can be as well, but I think it's also that thing, I guess, people don't like to let other people down, and if you have that emotional attachment and you're letting someone down, you kind of feel bad about yourself, so you go to all efforts to prevent that from happening. And I think that's a strong drive, and I've noticed, like with my mentors, they build that close relationship because they want to make sure that, one, that you feel comfortable coming to them with something that they know at the back of their mind from a business decision that you would feel bad if you let them down. So I look at it a little bit different in that regard.
I'm pretty lucky with the people around me. When I first was there for the first 2 weeks, if I'd go and ask a question, they go, oh, have you worked it out yourself? Or like, have you tried yourself first? So rather than like every time going and just going like, I just don't know how to do it, so I'll just go ask, like, they'd make sure that at least I've had a go of it first, so I've sort of got a general understanding, or so rather than like taking the easy route. So I think that's the biggest thing, is if they keep encouraging you to have a crack at it first, and then if you still can't work it out, then you can go to them, because then they can see which bit's confusing you or something like that.
I guess just with my supervisor, I've come up to him with a problem or a project or whatever I've had, and we've ended up having a discussion where he'll bring in an idea and then I'll think, oh, how about we go like this? And that'll lead into something completely different again, where we'll both walk away knowing something a little more. So it's probably more a two-way street. We can't strictly rely on them for answers. They may get answers from us in the end, in some cases.
Well, my manager, we have a weekly catch-up set up every week. And when I first started, it was every single week. And now, as I'm sort of getting more competent, it's sort of once every 2 weeks. But if I need him, like if I'm like, help, so like I'm really stuck, he'll help me like straight away. I can call him up no matter where he is or whatever. Great. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
How important it is to you to have a physical place to work in the workplace? How important is it to have your own desk or your own office? Or would you like the flexibility of being able to go anywhere in the workplace?
I'm very... Can I start?
Yes.
I keep my gym bag at my desk. I have like half a wardrobe of shoes underneath because I change from thongs to shoes in the morning. I have a toothbrush in the drawer. I have Minties, lip gloss, perfume, because I'm a woman, and I suppose I've worked briefly for a place, that hot desk. You basically walked in, this was a part-time job for Telstra on a night shift. You walked in at 5 o'clock that night and you just took whatever desk you could, and I hated it. So I really am attached to my desk and my things and my sticky notes on on my computer.
Whether you're out on the road so much and you've only got a hot desk to come back to, or whether you're more team-based in the office and you've got your workstation. But I think kind of regardless of how much time you're at that desk or that workspace, I think it's great to just be able to personalise it, whether you're only there for 10 minutes a day, coming in and out, or you're there sort of 10 hours a day. Just something that supports you to have all your crap and do what you need to do, rather than just walking in and having, you know, this clean, sterile desk that doesn't feel kind of like home for that 10 minutes or 10 hours that you're there. So.
Yeah, I agree as well. You need somewhere you can put stuff. I think you like to leave things at work.
Like personalisation or work things?
Well, no, like if I come in one day and I want to leave my jacket there and pick it up the next day because I want to walk home in the hot weather with it or anything like that. Yeah. So I think there's quite practical reasons, and I think it is good to have your space. People know where to find you. So I think I would prefer working at a desk as well.
My cupboards, my drawers, my stationery.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
My work set out on wheels.
Yes.
Like it's nice to go away and be able to work in other places, but you definitely need your little space that you can come back to. Here's my desk. Oh, good. Here's all my stuff. And yeah, pretty much.
You get used to working in a particular environment. I think like if you getting like extracted from that all the time, it's probably quite sort of off-putting, I guess, as well. If you're working in a kind of creative space or something like that. Also good to create have your own sort of mess as well. Give a bit of ownership to it.
Right.
Yeah, I think having my own space and feeling some kind of ownership over my space would be really important. But that said, as I said before, I really think the flexibility of being able to get out of that space for your mental health as well as your work health is really important, and it's a shame we're so changed.
I feel like my desk is it's like my identity in the office, and maybe this is because I'm a designer and I'm an aesthetic person, but I've decorated my desk. I've got the particular images along the back that I like, and I have my little mascot on top of my screen and all the cheesy stuff, but that's my way of differentiating myself from the environment.
I want to ask you, what is the thing that you find the best about your job, about your office, and then what's the worst thing about it? Just real quickly.
The cheesy but true is that the people are the best thing. It's definitely the people that are around you, and kind of even it may seem less productive to be talking and things the whole time, but I feel like it's actually more productive. If I was isolated, I would just take my time, but having that stimulation is the best thing about my job.
Best thing would probably be the culture and the location, the fact that we're right near De Graves, and I've never seen so much of Melbourne ever since I've been working here. And I love that we walk, most of our jobs are local, so we walk everywhere, and I love that. And the worst thing would have to be my desk at the moment because I'm by myself. I feel alone.
The best thing about my job would probably be the flexibility that I'm given. So I love the fact that I can work from home and I can decide when I do that, and wherever I go I can decide where I work. Worst thing would, there's not that many bad things, but I guess the least good thing would be the location. So it's a bit of a pain being in Docklands. It's a bit of a hike in heels getting into the city.
For me, it's definitely having your opinion valued. Like even though you kind of feel like I'm fresh out of university, I don't really think I can contribute something that's going to be overly beneficial, but there's this kind of attitude of they actually really want to know what you think, and that kind of fresh opinion and kind of the youth of your ideas and that sort of thing as well. So I think it's definitely they definitely value that your input, and that's quite cool, definitely.
I also like Deloitte.